The wind rises in Chang'an, Tianbao death. Chapter 1. The dust is settled, and the world is in turmoil. In the 14th year of the Tang dynasty, Chang'an city is still as prosperous as before, but there is an unprecedented dark storm hidden. The powerful people who live in the court are like stars shining, but they also hide dangers. At this time, a sudden coup d'état, like a violent wind blowing up dust, shattered the former glory. In an old alley called Nishang Lane in the west of the city, there lives a young man named Lu Haoshan. Lu Haoshan lost his parents since he was a child and was raised by his aunt, with a resolute personality, but also a little arrogant. At the moment, he is picking fresh fruits and vegetables in front of the vendor, ready to go home and make dinner. Haoshan, I'm coming back soon, it's not early. Aunt Surong shouted from the house, her voice full of uneasiness, because the situation in Chang'an city has become more and more turbulent recently, with bandits on the streets, and even the officers and soldiers are difficult to maintain order. At this moment, a rapid sound of horses' hooves sounded, accompanied by the earth-shattering shouts of killing, and the entire alley instantly fell into chaos. Officers and soldiers hunt down fugitives. A young soldier who rushed into the alley shouted. Lu Haoshan's eyes lit up, and his intuition told him that this turmoil was by no means ordinary. My aunt hurriedly grabbed his hand. Haoshan, don't run around, go home immediately. But the young man was already suspicious, and hid in the darkness at the end of the alley, and he saw a group of men in black fighting fiercely with the officers and soldiers, and they were vigorous and ruthless. He recognized that the leader of the men in black was a tall man with cold eyes, Han Moan, a legendary leader of an underground force. Han Moan moved neatly and retreated quickly, but accidentally left behind a mysterious jade pendant when retreating. Lu Haoshan quietly picked it up, held it in his hand, and felt a cold force circulate. Chapter 2. The mystery of the jade pendant and fate are intertwined. When night fell, Lu Haoshan hid in his aunt's house with a jade pendant, his eyes full of confusion and questions. Sensing the foreign object in his hand, his aunt was surprised and asked, "What is this?" Lu Haoshan told Surong about the passing, and the two decided to find out the secret behind the jade pendant. Surong revealed that this jade pendant seems to be related to a mysterious organization wanted by the imperial court, Swannyingman. A few days later, Lu Haoshan met a mysterious girl named Bais Hylan in the city. She was born in a wealthy merchant family in the south of the Yangtze River, but she was exiled to Chang'an because her family was involved in political struggles. Bais Hylan has excellent medical skills and wit. She has a strong interest in the jade pendant in Lu Haoshan's hand, and offers to help find out the origin of the jade pendant. The two investigated together, and soon discovered that an ancient map was hidden in the jade pendant, pointing to a hidden valley outside the city of Chang'an. At this time, the intrigue within the imperial court gradually surfaced. Pei Anran, the minister in charge of military power, was ambitious and prepared to use the chaos to seize imperial power. He sent his henchman Huo Lifeng to hunt down everyone related to the Xianying sect. Lu Haoshan and Bais Hylan gradually became the center of this power vortex, and subtle feelings slowly sprouted between the two. Chapter 3. The Truth of the Hidden Valley and the Shadow Gate. Under the guidance of the moonlight, Lu Haoshan and Bais Hylan passed through the steep mountains and forests, and finally arrived at the valley pointed out on the map. Hidden in the valley is an ancient grotto, with strange runes carved into the walls, and the flow of light and shadow seems to have a soul telling ancient stories. They met the elder of the Xianying Gate, Long Wuji, an old man with grey hair but an extraordinary aura. Long Wuxian told them that the jade pendant was an important token of the Xianying Gate's protection, symbolizing a secret power that could influence the pattern of the world. It turns out that the Swannyingman is not an enemy of the imperial court, but an ancient secret organization that vows to maintain the balance of the world and prevent power from falling into the hands of evil. Pei Anran conspired to use the turmoil in the court to seize power, hoping to use the power hidden in the jade pendant to suppress dissidents and achieve his dream of becoming emperor. Lu Haoshan, Bais Hylan, and Swannyingman decided to join forces to stop Pei Anran's conspiracy. Chapter 4. Night Battle of Chang'an, A Turn of Fate. Pei Anran launched a mutiny, and Chang'an city fell into chaos. Lu Haoshan and Bais Hylan led the disciples of Xianying sect to cooperate with Feng Zixuan, a general loyal to the court, and launched a fierce battle in Chang'an city. In the dark night, the sword light and the fire reflected half of the sky. Lu Haoshan and Han Moan met again in a shocking way. Han Moan turned out to be a traitor to the Xianying sect, and now he has become a killer under Pei Anran. After a life and death duel, Lu Haoshan defeated Han Moan with a tenacious will, making him change his mind and return to Xianying Gate. Pei Enran was finally captured by Feng Zixuan and Suanyingmen, and the conspiracy was revealed. Calm gradually returned to the city, but the impact of the storm was far-reaching, the power structure was reshaped, and the people began to reflect on the glory and darkness of the past. Chapter 5 The wind rises in Chang'an, and the future can be expected. At the court rebuilt trust, and the emperor promulgated a new policy, hoping to restore the former glory of the Tang dynasty. Lu Haoshan and Bai's Highland chose to retreat to the rivers and lakes to protect this once turbulent city. They built a medicine shop next to Nishang Lane to treat the people who had been injured by the troubled times. Han Moan became their escort to protect this small peace. The Shadow Gate continues to hide in the shadows, guarding the balance of the world. And this story is also in the fireworks of Chang'an, slowly spreading into thousands of legends. Chapter 6 The shadow reappears, and the dark tide surges. The peace of Chang'an city was not easy to come by, but the shadows in the shadows never subsided. Although Lu Haoshan, Bai's Highland, and Han Moan had retired, they found that there was still an unknown force in the city that was secretly ready to move. This faction, which calls itself the Night Alliance, has members who are haunted by assassination and intelligence warfare, and their target is the remaining secrets of the Xianying Gate. One night, the pharmacy was suddenly attacked. The black-clad assassin appears like a ghost in an attempt to snatch a mysterious ancient book, the secret book of the heavenly treasure. This ancient book contains forbidden knowledge about the rise and fall of the Tang dynasty, and it is a secret that Suanyingmen has treasured for many years. Lu Haoshan and Han Moan joined forces to resist, while Bai's Highland protected the ancient book in the chaos. The assassins retreated, but the windows of the pharmacy were smashed, suggesting that the nightfall had begun a planned operation. In order to protect the tranquility of Chang'an, and in order to find out the true face of the Night Alliance, the three decided to restart the old contact and gather the old department of the Xianying Gate, and a new storm gradually brewed. Chapter 7 Tracing the Shadows, Threads Heavy. Lu Haoshan and Han Moan secretly went out of the city and went to Luoyang to find a former intelligence master, Shen Zhen. Shen Zhen was a knowledgeable and cunning middle-aged man who had heard a little about the members of the Nightfall League. He revealed, the Nightfall Alliance was originally a branch of the Xianying Gate, but it broke away due to differences in philosophy, and now it seems to be controlled by a mysterious black hand. During the investigation, Shen Zhen took them to a deserted temple and discovered the secret base entrance of the Night Alliance. Lu Haoshan and the others decided to infiltrate the investigation, but were discovered by the assassins in ambush, triggering a fierce fight. In the melee, Han Moan rescued Bai's Highland, but was injured by the enemy. Seeing that the situation was critical, Lu Haoshan led the crowd to retreat and brought Han Moan back to Chang'an to heal his injuries. Chapter 8 Undercurrents, Betrayal, and Truth. During the healing period, Han Mohan's injuries gradually stabilized, but he hid unspeakable secrets in his heart. It turned out that he was once the internal response of the Night Alliance, responsible for spying on the movements of the Xianying Gate. However, after witnessing the righteousness and persistence of the Xianying sect's disciples, Han Moan felt remorse and decided to fight back and assist Lu Haoshan in exposing the darkness behind the Night Alliance. With the encouragement of Bai's Highland and Lu Haoshan, Han Moan decided to give the inside story, revealing that the real main messenger of the Night Alliance was a high-ranking official in the imperial court, Wei Jinayu. Wei Jinayu is loyal on the surface, but in fact he is ambitious, secretly controlling the Night Alliance, trying to seize the government through chaos, establish his own private army, and become the new monarch of the Tang dynasty. Chapter 9 The Battle of the Imperial City, The Conspiracy Exposed. When the news came back to Chang'an, Lu Haoshan, Bai's Highland, Han Moan and Feng Zixuan joined forces and began to plot to exterminate Wei Jinayu's forces. At a grand imperial city banquet, Wei Jinayu intended to assassinate the emperor and set off a coup d'état. Lu Haoshan and others had already laid an ambush, and dispatched troops from various parties, setting off a bloody storm in the imperial city. After a fierce fight, Wei Jinayu was arrested, and the Night Alliance collapsed. The corruption and intrigue within the imperial court were exposed for a while, and the entire Chang'an fell into an unprecedented shock. Lu Haoshan saved the emperor in the chaos and received the favor of the imperial court, but he refused his official position and chose to continue to protect the people with Bai's Highland. underscore 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 un. Chapter 10 The glory reappears, and the rivers and lakes rise again. The imperial court regrouped, and order was restored to the world. The Xianying Gate is also gradually regaining its strength in the shadows and becoming the guardian of the stability of the world. Lu Haoshan and Bai's Highlands medicine shop became a symbol of peace in Chang'an, and many people who had been displaced reunited to start a new life. However, the rivers and lakes have never really been calm. Han Moan became the messenger of the Xianying Gate and traveled to the south to detect new threats. The story came to an end in the fireworks of Chang'an for the time being, but the dark tide was still surging in the depths, waiting for the next moment when the wind would rise. Chapter 11 Changes in the southern border, Lonely Moon City resurrects. When Han Moan was ordered to go south to investigate, he found that the Lonely Moon City on the border of southern Xinjiang had been frequently attacked in recent days, the people were scattered, and the officers and soldiers were helpless. Even more surprisingly, the remnants of the Nightfall League and a mysterious sect, the Burning Wheel Society, have been sighted here. The Burning Wheel Society is an ancient sect that is said to have originated in the western regions, believing in burning the world and rebirth, in an attempt to ignite the flames of war, completely destroy the order of the Central Plains, and then establish a new order under their control. They unearthed the long-lost forbidden fire soul refining spirit, and could even temporarily revive the dead into a puppet army. Han Moan summoned Chang'an, and Lu Haoshan and Bai's Highland personally went south to support. When they arrived at Lone Moon City, they found that it had long since fallen into chaos. An existential storm that is more dangerous than ever before is about to sweep in. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 12 The Burning World Array, Reappearing from the Past. In the 10,000 Bone Ridge outside the city of Lonely Moon City, the Burning Wheel Society is about to complete the Burning World Array. Lu Haoshan discovered that the core of this array was actually the third part of the hidden content in the Heavenly Treasure Secret Classic, and that secret text was sealed by the founder of the Xianying sect back then. In order to prevent the Burning World Array from activating, Lu Haoshan led Han Moan, Bai's Highland and Shen Zhen to infiltrate the 10,000 Bone Ridge. They fought a decisive battle with Helian Flame, the leader of the Burning Wheel Society. Helian Yan came from a mysterious background, calling himself the Divine Son of the Flames, controlling the ghostly fire, and can burn the enemy with his mind. The battle was fierce, and Shen Zhen sacrificed in order to keep the formation, delaying the launch of the Burning World Array. Bai's Highland discovers that Helian Flame's ghostly fire originates from an obsidian heart core, and if it can be destroyed with pure yang energy, the curse can be lifted. Lu Haoshan used the mysterious power in the jade pendant and the pure yang pill refined by Bai's Highland to combine the two powers and penetrate the obsidian with one blow. Helian Yan was horrified and wanted to blow up the formation to die together, but Han Moan abandoned his past sins and sealed the formation with his life, and finally died in the fire with Helian Yan. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 13 Everything reopens, Destiny is decided. The Burning World crisis was lifted, and Lonely Moon City was reborn. Han Mohan's sacrifice moved the world, and the imperial court erected a monument to commemorate him, calling him the Night Shadow Hero. The Xianying sect was disbanded, and power was returned to the court and the people. Lu Haoshan and Bai's Highland declined the emperor's favor and returned to Chang'an to reopen the pharmacy, cure diseases and save lives, and protect the people. Bai's Highland burned the last page of the secret book of heavenly treasures, ending its curse on history. Lu Haoshan looked at the scene of the reconstruction of the Tang dynasty and understood that history should not be rewritten by secret arts and conspiracies, but should be paved by people's hearts and beliefs. A few years later, Nishang Lane was full of peach blossoms. In front of the medicine shop, a child took Bai's Highland's clothes and shouted, "Father, Mother." Lu Haoshan smiled and looked at Chang'an in the distance, just like the night they first met. Underscore 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 un. Postscript, Feng Chang'an, Yung Tianbao. The wind rises in Chang'an, Tianbao death, starting from a sudden coup d'état, takes a teenager involved in the torrent of history as a guide, weaving a magnificent picture of faith, loyalty, betrayal, and redemption. At that time, these names may be forgotten by history, but the story of Chang'an will be passed down from generation to generation in the mouths of the old people in the tea house. You ask dating the most chaotic and moving years of that year? 14 years after Tianbao, that group of people, with their lives and hearts, guarded our Chang'an.